I'll be back in a week.
Well, he's caught the vision with Dardoon. He'll be a fine hand to the work once he finds what he's after.
Aye, timber tools and that smith he keeps talking about. Hope he finds him. The stills won't mend themselves.
Strange seeing the living move about again. Makes the old halls feel less empty.
Aye, let's hope they stay that way.
Nearly 2,000 years ago, the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Or, as the internet loves to tell us, little by little one travels far. They always say Tolkien said that. Problem is, Tolkien never said that. In fact, there's absolutely no evidence out there. It's one of those internet ghosts that it's taken on a life of its own. But I digress. The sentiment's still a good one, so we'll borrow it anyway. But for us, though, we say it like this. Sometimes the forge slows, not from failure, but because it's waiting to receive back the hot steel. All this rambling to say, the inability to get certain Dwarven Forge pieces has led me to feed the forge new material. We like to think of obstacles as walls in our path, but more often they're just the mountain's way of guiding the flow. I'd planned to spill down the embankment to the walls and finish the middle escarpment before pushing to the river on both fronts. But that plan's been shifted. I'm still working on the brewery and a few pieces on the plateau, but soon that too will hit a wall until the restock. So I find myself like a river, flowing around the debris that's clogged it, finding a new path, and letting the terrain take me where it will. That means the work's going to turn inward for a little while. Sure, there's painting to be done that advances the cause, but you don't want to watch me paint some stone floors again. So I'll let the pressure just kind of build beneath the surface. And in that spirit, I'll take the pause as part of the process. A chance to breathe, to listen, and to let the mountain whisper what comes next. So, while the mountain decides when to open its depths, the work doesn't stop. My brush is still finding the stone, and my paint still finds the groove. And one by one, new ideas are taking shape in my head. Sometimes, the best thing you can do for a forge is step back and feed it air. Let it, breathe before the next strike. And maybe that's kind of the point. Creation isn't always in the noise of the hammer or the roar of the fire. Sometimes it's in the quiet, when the steel rests and the craftsman watches the light change. And maybe a little bit's to tell me to relax, slow down, enjoy the journey. To just savor this build. I struggled a lot with channel, lack of supplies, and all of that. And the pressure was actually getting to me. But once I did the Zen thing and accepted that it is what it is, my mind started racing to other possibilities. The obstacles suddenly became a ramp to some new stuff. In fact, there are a lot of story pieces burning in the forge right now. Arcs waiting for their turn at the anvil. Some are half-formed, others already glowing red, and I wish I had the talent and the time to bring them all to life. If you saw what's waiting under my table, you'd probably ask, when are you ever going to have time to paint all that? And I'd just grin and say, that's a good question. But a good forge teaches patience. You can't rush the heat, and you can't hurry the craft. So that's where I'm at right now, shaping what's already alive without forcing it to cool too soon. Each beard, each brick, each bit of painted stone has its own rhythm. The brewery, the plateau, the river, all that's waiting for their moment to flow together. Even the stuff under the table, it's waiting its turn. And they will. They'll flow together. And when they do, the forge will flare again. Until then, I gotta just keep feeding the fire with new things, finding their place on the mountain, in the lore, maybe even under the mountain. Anyway, thank you for walking this far down the mountain path with me. If the forge's rhythm is speaking to you, do me a favor, leave a rune in the comments below and help me keep the fires burning. Peace.
Here's one I never did tell you, about heroes of a forgotten age, walking the world again, trying to breathe new life into a once great legend. They're hammering back against the stain of Skaven and Warpstone, mending what was broken, reforging and what was lost. And I can feel the mountain stirring. I reckon I ain't much choice left. I'll need to seek out the others. Those will help me bring Barak-Karandul back to life.
By the stone, Dorgin! What darn fool notion are you dragging me into now?